Air Jordan 2, Chicago. Alright, so what's up, YouTube? This is another quick pickup video for you here today, and we finally have the Air Jordan 2 in the original Chicago colorway. I never called them that; they're just the white, black, or white, black, and red 2s. Man, oh man, oh man. Woo, man. You know, I'm always one to call out and criticize Jordan Brand when they cut corners and when they don't do a job to the level that I expect them to do. Expectations that were set by them. But when they do a good job, at least relative to what they've been doing, I like to give them their credit. And man, I mean, other than if you want to criticize like the materials, like the upper of the shoe is really using a nice leather, but then the tongue, it's definitely got some synthetic portions in here. But other than that, like I have nothing to complain about. I have nothing to complain about. I know that this, if we're really gonna go for the reach, this midsole is polyurethane, and I know it's not of the same composition that it originally was, or back, at least up into the early 2000s, they were still using like that old polyurethane when you see shoes that are completely crumbled, and it's still polyurethane, it's still going to crumble, but they've changed the formula so it does last a little longer, but then it's also not as soft. Other than that, and then the tongue, these literally could have come out in that golden retro era, as far as the modern retros between 99 and 03, and these would have fit right in with all of those. These are spectacular. They did a spectacular job on these. If we're gonna nitpick, yes, the toe was not perfect. They're still working on trying to get that more streamlined toe shape. But the toe's not bad. It's not as bad as it was on the 04 retros and like a lot of the retros up until recently, where this thing was literally like a 90-degree angle type of toe. And then the materials are nice, and it's nice meaning it's soft and it's thick, and yes, it's gonna crease, but that's what leather does. And it's just so nice because I tripled up on these in 04. And then I got another pair after that, like years later, just to have another pair that was DS's well before like resale prices got crazy. So I have 4 pairs of 04s. I didn't want to do a comparison because 2 of the pairs are completely crumbled, like even the plastic TPU is crumbled, and the other 2 pairs are kind of my 2 DS pairs. They're kind of tucked away. I didn't want to dig them out, and plus I don't know if I want to check in on them. It's been a few years since I looked at them, so I don't know what kind of condition they're in. And as of late, I kind of went through a lot of my shoes, and I opened that box and it was a sad time, sad day. But anyway, I didn't want to do a comparison, but I got 3 pairs of these in 04, another pair later, and then by the time the 2010 retro rolled around, all of my 04 pairs were still wearable, and the 2020 retro was terrible, absolutely terrible. So I wasn't buying them. So I haven't bought these since 2004, at least as mids or highs. I did get the lows in 2016, so it's been a long time since I've worn these. Like, I stopped wearing my 04s. The last time was probably around 2010, or maybe a little bit after, but not too much after. So it's nice to be able to have these again. And you know, these are one of my favorite all-time Jordans. Not the 2 in general, but like this specific 2. Like, I don't understand, like, and it was, side note, you know, it kind of pissed me off a little bit because I've always been a Jordan 2 supporter. I've always liked the 2s. From the time back in the day when, like, these came out the same year I did, so we're, you know, the same year I was born, so obviously I didn't have the originals, or I wasn't old enough to be, you know, cognizant of the shoe at that time. But later on, obviously watching Jordan and so on and so forth, and you get into the sneakers, so you eventually go back and start looking at the old shoes. So for me, with these, like, watching Come Fly With Me, that was all I needed to see. I was like, okay, I like those, because he was, you know, killing the league at the time in these, you know, 37.1 points that season. So I've always liked the 2s, and it was kind of annoying, you know, after all these years of people talking shit about the 2s, or they don't like the 2s are ugly, da 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 da. And now when they're about to drop, you know, suddenly people are, you know, they're growing on me and da 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 da, and now they want to buy them. So I was a little annoyed on release day that they weren't easier to acquire. Even though I got 1 pair for retail, I was definitely trying to get multiples. I got 1 pair that day. I was really annoyed. It was through JD Sports on, you know, through the app, and it was like one of those situations where you kind of keep trying to put it in your cart and it doesn't go. And then if it does, you know, by the time you go to check out, it removes it from your cart. So I kind of just kept doing that, and eventually I got one to go all the way through with the order, but I wasn't sure if the order was gonna actually get fulfilled. Luckily it was fulfilled. So I was kind of annoyed that I only ended up on 1 pair on release day, you know, after all these years of having to defend these, and now everybody wants them. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm just glad they came out nice. And, you know, even the small details, they really nailed it. Like, for instance, the originals and the 95s, the 04s, the padding here always came out beyond, like, this stitch line right here, so you can see the padding. And then after the 04, starting with the 08 countdowns, for whatever reason, the padding would be on the inner side of the shoe, so you couldn't see it here. It would just be flat here, and it just looked hella cheap. So I'm really glad they paid that level, that attention to detail, making sure even the padding looked correct. So these, I mean, I've seen these out in the wild, and they just look amazing on foot. They look great. Shirt in hand, you can see some of the, you know, little things that, you know, need to be worked on. But man, in the wild, these things are absolutely spectacular. In my opinion, definitely the best retro, which I don't normally say, even though, like, in recent years they've been improving a lot of the retros. I don't normally say that and give a shoe credit over either the 94 or 95 retros, or like the 99 to 02, 03 retros. Those are still usually a step above for me than a lot of the modern retros across the board. But for these, nah. The 04s were nice. The 04s, it was just, they had that extra, you know, the extra piping along here that wasn't supposed to be there. And they had the cliff toe on those. But those had nice leather. Those had soft polyurethane. The shape wasn't quite as good as these. Like, they were cut a little lower. But they improved a lot of things with these. These are absolutely amazing, man. These are absolutely amazing. That pair from JD Sports was a 13. And just side note, these do fit true to size, so you should be good true to size. If you do want a slightly snugger fit, you can go down half the size. And that's what I did. So that's why this review is kind of coming late, because I wasn't going to do an on foot with my DS pair. So I ended up getting, this is my 12.5. I paid resale for these. It wasn't too bad. As you can see, even now the resale prices aren't bad. And then I ended up catching, because Snipes didn't release their pairs on release day, they dropped them later. And when they dropped later, I was able to get another 13. So I did kind of want to get at least 3 pairs. So I was at least able to get that, and you know, only paying 1 pair or only paying resale for 1 pair, that's not too bad. I guess I could live with it. Even though I was hoping these would sit like the Cardinals, so I could maybe try to get them on the retail. But oh well, it is what it is. You know, I got my pairs at this point. I'm just gonna enjoy them. And man, oh man, Jordan Brand, great job, great job. So go ahead and just drop me down, comment, what do you think about these 2s? Were you always a 2 hater, or did you always like them? Let me know down in the comments. And of course, as always, if you like this type of content, do all that good YouTube stuff for me. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on the next one. Peace out.